Hello everybody, what is up my boys? Today we're gonna have a MotoGP 2022. So this is a nice racing title when you ride the bicycles. So it's like being a Casey Stoner in the year in which you say goodbye to Valentino Rossi. So I'm a bit of the fan of the MotoGP because I have started watching it from 2006 and that was quite interesting for me to observe this competition. So about to start with, the problem for designers in how to unload over 200 horsepower to the ground if the contact surface with the asphalt is wide as a credit card. This phrase is one of the first chapters of 9th season 2009, the 2009 team historical scenario mode at the heart of the MotoGP 22, which has stuck with me. The British documentary maker, who is the director but also a narrator, I don't remember his name, on interesting interactive hybrid of the sports storytelling, pronounced it's to give the context to a series of fascinating technical paradoxes that underline motorsport and that create the series of fundamental tensions between efficiency and the performance, between technology and the safety, between the physics and the reality, but also between ingenuity and madness necessary to reach the limit. Paradoxes, which is the case on 2009 MotoGP, are easily photographed with the image of the Ducati Desmosed DT GP9, the bike ridden by Stoner and which featured a futuristic and ambitious ManalCream, a solution that followed the even more extreme and legendary GP7, where the central element of the whole classes was represented by the engine, with the result of being rather unmergable missile, unless you call yourself Casey Stoner, as I said before, and win a world championship. Yes, intense. The Ducati of those years was a fast and paradoxical bikes, a monster of technology that needed the monstrous talent to be tamed, a balance that one found by the Borgo Panigale builder of those years, as I said, paradoxical, the result of ambition, madness and even the courage. What is the historical discretion to decontextualize the present? MotoGP 2022 is a bit like the Ducati of that period, and the reason is not found precisely in those paradoxes that animate both motorsport and development of the video game that Ward wants to simulate, sell, transmit it. The search for a balance between the components and at opposite extremes for a winning formula between accessibility, fun and vermis title. How about the promo? Year after year. What to change to find a better balance and achieve even more ambitious results? By betting, taking risk, trying different solutions. If last year milestone with the MotoGP 21 had reached the balance square with an incredibly accessible simcade, the result of the journey was lasted a few years. With this edition, the Milanage studio has changed alchemy. The new physics of the tires and aerodynamics brought it with the different driving feeling, a new braking management, new sensation. A different, more simulative, more ambitious balance where accessibility and performance are more in tension than in ever, just like in Ducati. In a short, MotoGP 2022 is a game with a considerable potential, but to find out it takes a handle. It takes time and you have to forget a lot of what we have learned in recent years. Who is ready to become the Casey Stoner? It's fun, but as well as paradoxical to think that Casey Stoner is the far an addition, which as I told you during the preview, Valentino Rossi heart beats fast like the 9th season 2009, the scenario mode that I also mentioned in the opening of the video, which allows you to relive the entire 2009 in excellently successful alternation between vintage footage and gameplay sequences, impersonating from the time to time some of the protagonists that in the vintage. The last crowd would be the title for Valentino Rossi. Our task is to complete a series of missions in a way that pursues reality to tell the past without no wish to change it. Just it seems to me after trying the first few chapters, the idea works well, that despite in effect sometimes of our performances on the track can be fast exceeded. The request and be little in attention with the narrated part. Not bad actually, because the content is always neutralized with a certain efficiency by Mark Nolan narration, and there is such attention to the details that 9 really manages to warm our hearts for the MotoGP fans is essentially an engaging way. In some ways, there is some most successful aspects of the game, and above all, it's progress chapter after chapter. It was consolidation and idea that I have long had about the sport titles, but really the only simulation approach to give us back in a linear career and not narrative for clean and precise the object. This is the reasoning analogs to watch which working looking forwards for the new media, sometimes an environment to the sports, because it becomes incredibly higher when declined according to a pure narrative canon, which use sport to field of the tracks and emotional vehicle as we play and spectacular. Then, for heaven's sake, reaching world glory starting from Moto3 has its charm, but Season 9 2009 is a good demonstration on how licensed sports and reality can communicate in rather creative, flying way even with the word video games without sacrificing the challenging gameplay and overall experiences, which is outstanding about that. So to say less about this game, we'll move to the verdict. In the year of memory of Valentino Rossi 9th world title milestone plays crazy and changed the card on the table with an engine riding model that makes MotoGP 22 as bizarre, grumpy and powerful as Casey Stoner's Ducati. The result is a step to the side for the series, in which a year subtechnically of transition towards a more intense narrative of the race context proposed a driving model on a little more simulative than the last year, but with a learning curve, a little two-step and some accessibility problems, with risks being less fun for the adventure and average range of users in the face of the many hours it takes to find the right place. However, the content offer convinces in quality and quantity. 9 Season 2009 is a brilliant idea to relive the history of one of the most beautiful world championship in recent years and ride Valentino Rossi Yamaha once again. While the managerial career is confirmed as a solid and well-implemented modernity, even if essential and not very storytelling for the rest, MotoGP 22 confirms what the milestone has done in the recent years with the Dorna license and brings home the result with experience in the craft. So about this racing game, I have to say that it is magnifico. Thank you so much, Milestone. This was magnifico. So the links all in the description. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Thank you so much. Peace. Ciao, ragazzi.